As we hurtle towards 2025, I have been thinking about goals I want to set myself for next year. What have I done in 2024 that I want to improve on? What can I do better? What can I do differently? Some of the things that I've done this year give me the good grounding to improve on certain things next year and have helped me to get plans in place. But I was also thinking about, well, what have I actually done in 24? Because it feels like I don't feel like I've achieved very much. And I don't know if that's because as the weeks go on, I feel like we're getting faster and faster and faster towards the end of the year. I don't seem to be achieving anything. The days are cold, they're short, they're very dark. It's hard to feel very productive. And I really don't feel productive when the weather's like this. It's just so dark outside today. I've had to hang a light above my phone because it's just so dark and it's only about 2 o'clock. So I started to make a list of things that I have done this year which I can be proud of, things which I wanted to do and have finally made inroads to, things that have improved. One of the things that I really knew I needed to improve this year, and it took me a while to get into it, was I really wanted to get into hiking. I wanted to exercise more. I wanted to improve my health. I wanted to get control of my eating and my exercise plan, which has always been a challenge because I work from home. I don't have lots of reasons to go out every day. I don't commute to work. I don't have to take kids to school. I don't have to do a lot of errands. So I'm not really getting in the steps that I need to have healthy movement in my life. So I started doing the hiking, and that has been absolutely great. It's been great because getting out in nature and fresh air and a whole different environment is good for you when you work from home, when you have nothing else around you that can kind of take you out of that headspace. So that was really good, and I've been sharing my hikes throughout the year as I've been doing them. I think I only started them in summer, so it's quite a new thing. So we'll see what we have planned for next year for that. So as I say, the exercise was very much an important thing, but I knew that as the year wore on, it was going to get harder and harder for me to get out and hike. The weather is now, we are rapidly approaching December. The weather's bad. We've had quite a bit of snow. There's rain, there's wind. Getting out and hiking on a moorland in this kind of weather is not fun. And so I eventually decided to invest in an under-desk treadmill, a walking pad. And I've only been using it as I record this for about 6 weeks, but honestly it's been a game changer for me. I've gone from walking about, I don't know, 10 miles a week to walking about 36. I feel better, I've lost weight, and I can really fit it into my life because it's underneath the desk where my laptop is, and I spend quite a lot of my time doing video editing and admin and other things on the computer. It means that there aren't that many excuses for me not to do it. And I started out by wanting to do 10,000 steps a day, and there were a few days where I didn't meet that, but there were other days where I went way over that. So it's all balanced out really nicely, and I'm now into my second month of that and trying to up my step count. So I'm going from trying to aim for 10,000 steps and aiming for a guaranteed 13,000 steps. Which I don't think is going to be difficult to it. And each month I want to improve on that because as my body gets used to the exercise, it's not going to have as much of an effect on my body and my weight and my fitness. What else have I achieved this year? I have increased my income. This is perhaps, when I look at what's coming in 2025, it might take a step back. This year has had some very particular income strategies which have worked for me. So I've increased my income by about 2,000. But when I look at my overall, what I'm worth, my assets, so to speak, I've managed to increase my asset worth by about £5,000 this year, which is pretty good because I have been living off my savings for far too long and kind of nibbling away at my savings where my income wasn't so great in previous years, and I need to put that money back. I want it to be replaced so that I don't feel bad about the fact I wasn't supposed to spend that money in the first place. So this is getting me closer to that goal. I still have a way to go, and of course I've got to look at what my income streams are going to look like next year. Are they going to improve? Are they going to get worse? Do I need new ones? The challenges of the cost of living crisis and all the things that come with that are still there. Prices are still going up, all that sort of thing. So I need to look at that, but I feel like I need to get into next year before I can do that. The predictions I've made for my income so far for next year are very much based on what I've got at the moment and things that I haven't done, and it's also based on what's the minimum I might get from a particular thing. So I might do really well at something next year that I didn't do so well at this year. So there's plenty of leeway to change that next year. I would like to hit the same income that I've had this year, which is just over £16,000. If I can hit that, that's great. We will have to see what will happen with that. Also, on the theme of finances, I managed to do something I have been thinking about for a few years, but couldn't get my head around. I really struggled with the concept and who I could trust to give me the right information, who I could trust with my money. And that was starting up a retirement fund. I now have a SIP pension and a stocks and shares ISA. They are small. I have started saving far too late for retirement, but they will produce something at some point. And at the moment, the best I can hope for is to have any sort of income at all when I retire. So those were very important things for me to do. I have done them. I have been investing in them for most of the year, and I will continue to do that. And that has helped take a little bit of fear, a little bit of pressure off me, because although it's small, it's better than nothing, and I can see potentially what the projections might be, and I can look at those two things against all the other things I do, and you can look at what the state pension might be, and if I continue to work, which is, I cannot imagine never working, but if I continue to work in the same way I do now, which is for myself and in work that doesn't cause me too much stress or energy, then as I get older, hopefully I will be able to continue working in the same way I do. And again, all those little pots that I do now, I could still be doing in retirement. So again, that has just taken a little bit of anxiety off of me, because I know I am trying to invest in that in the small way that I can. I've also now got a 6-month emergency fund, which I didn't have, and I've started a car fund for at whatever point my car goes wrong. My car is now 12. Eventually it is going to become too expensive to maintain, or it's just going to die on me. And I don't have enough punching power in me to get credit for a car. I need to have the money, or I'm going to have to borrow the money from my parents. So I have invested a certain amount of money in an emergency fund. That's my 6-month emergency fund, which will cover everything that my life needs to keep running for 6 months if something should happen and I lose all my income streams. And I am getting on to halfway to what I think I will need as a car fund if I need to go and buy a new car. So again, it's just little things that were niggling at me that were causing me a little bit of worry in the back of my mind. Finances are my big thing, and I have now resolved those to the point where I'm actively working towards them. What else has happened this year? Well, I got my creative mojo back. I had a year where up until the summer, I just had no desire to make anything. I already had a lot of stock in my business, so I didn't feel under pressure to make stuff. I have lots and lots of stock already made, but I couldn't find the mental or the physical energy to want to create. I had hit this burnout, which I'd started to get quite worried about it up and into the beginning of 2024, because in 2023 I hadn't made very much at all. I wasn't interested in the social media aspect of it, of the marketing. I just wanted to go and do something completely different. And that's when I had started my YouTube channel, and I'd started to do other different creative things. So I wasn't just sitting around doing nothing and watching TV all day. I was doing stuff. It just wasn't what I was meant to be doing, which was running my creative, my handcraft business. And then I don't know what happened. And then suddenly in the summer, a little light clicked in my head, and suddenly I wanted to make again. And I've really increased what I'm doing. I've had a business YouTube channel for a while, but it's never really done anything. And I found a new direction for that, and that's helping to draw traffic into my new Shopify website, which I started. I opened it in March 2023. It didn't really gain any traffic until the beginning of 2024, and it's continued to grow since then. So that's going really well, because it means I'm no longer reliant on just Etsy as a sales platform, which is a very dangerous way to run your business. And of course, on the back of that, I'm making money based on the referrals, theoretically, that I get from YouTube. So because I have a business YouTube channel which is behind the scenes, and I show me how I make stuff, what I'm doing, what my studio's like, that is bringing people to my shop. So that is really helping. I've started a newsletter, never done that before, and it feels like I have a proper little empire now building. I mean, my business I've been running for 12 years, but it's had lots of very different entities. Most of the time when I have been running it, it has been like a supplementary income. I've had other jobs, other part-time jobs. I've been doing other things. It had different directions. It started out as a photo shoot styling service almost, and then when I lost my studio in town and all the studio space, it became an at-home crafting business. And of course, around that time, I lost my part-time job, which was easily paying me the money I needed to get by. So there was very much a lot of challenges when that first happened, although that was way back when I first moved into my own place here back in 2018. So it's had all sorts of different entities. It's not always just been the business. There's always been lots of other things going on. So I've never felt the pressure to make it earn an enormous amount of money. I've always been able to enjoy my business as a creative thing that I do when I feel creative. It's an outlet for me. It keeps life interesting. It stops things becoming routine. I am a creative person, and I need to be able to create when it suits me. I am not a factory channel, and I don't make just for the money. I make because I enjoy it, which is one of the problems really, because if I could just churn out tons and tons of stuff, I'd probably make more money, but I just don't work like that. And rolling on from that and talking about YouTube, this year has been my first full year being monetized on YouTube. I got monetized just before Christmas last year, so this is my first full year, and it is definitely an income stream. It's not an enormous income stream, and it definitely doesn't pay for the time that I spend on it. It's so far below a minimum wage, I don't even know where to start. But when it adds to all the other little pots of things that I do, so I have the business, I do the surveys, I have the little part-time cleaning jobs now, which gets me out of the house, gets me still interacting with other human beings, because it can be a very isolating experience being self-employed and working from home and being an online business. None of my friends and family live in my area, so there aren't always things for me to go out and do and meet people. So that job was, of course it pays money and I need the money, and it takes the pressure off the other income streams as well, which can be a little bit unpredictable. But it means I am having to be responsible to somebody else some of the time, which is really important as well, because you can get very mentally lazy when you don't have to stick to any deadlines that other people provide you. But it also means that I was able to interact with other humans, and it would force me out of my shell a little bit, which has been really, really useful. So overall, this year has had lots of positive changes, things that I worked on that have been started in 2023 and I have improved on, things that I can improve on next year, and of course there are gaps that need filling, like I did my 1 year on universal credit with the protected year after I finished on working tax credits when I was migrated. That has gone. That was a a small lifeline, but definitely a lifeline in terms of my income, and that's why my income already looks so dodgy next year, because the universal credit ended in August, but I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to happen. I have no excuse for being worried about that. So I have made lots of positive changes this year. I need to remember that, and we all need to remember those things that have changed, that have improved, despite the rather unstable economic situations we have at the moment. And it's, you know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot for us to be distracted by out in the world, out on the news, and I just need to rein it in a bit and focus on myself. So that's what I've been doing. So that's my positive end for 2024. I have achieved things. I have done things. It's not like nothing ever happened. They feel small because it's all spaced out over 12 months, but these are positive things. They are all things that I can take with me into next year and be even more positive about and work on and improve on. And that provides those challenges that I need for next year to keep me motivated. So if you're worried about what on earth happened to 2024, have a look at what you did, write it down, break it down. If you're not sure, look in your calendar, look at the things that where you had things that were happening, look what happened, and just see how much you did actually achieve. Because there's no point in just sitting back and going, oh, it was a rubbish year and I did nothing. You must have done things. You must have done something. You are still here. You are still managing. Anyway, so that's my little positive note to as we start to wrap up 2024. And you know, next year will be here before you know it, and then spring will be here, and the weather will improve, the sun will return, and I can get back out on the moors and start hiking. That will really help. I think that will make a huge difference. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.